Now, to protect your valuables while you're out and about, whether you're just around town or you're traveling, having some really cool places to hide cash, keys, credit card, things like that, just in case for an emergency situation. Maybe you've lost your phone, you've lost your billfold, maybe you've been robbed, and having some cash set back that somebody wouldn't think would be there is a great option. Plus, I really wanted to tailor this to things that you could just use every day and not really know the difference. And one of the things we're going to look at is this little patch. We're going to look at some different concealment options for some of your valuables. Very small valuables, things like cash, credit cards, a spare key, a handcuff key, or other things that are very important to you. Maybe important papers, receipts, just some ideas to have some emergency cash put back, or again, if you run into a situation to where things are taken from you, you have a backup. Now, to start things off, this is not a real big secret, but it's a place that a lot of people use to hide cash. And if you have a cover on your phone, just tucking it away, it gives you an emergency stash just in case something happens, and you always have $20 or $100 or $5. This keeps it just in a safe place. But also, you know, it is good if you're robbed or if you're, you know, some things are taken from you. And of course, you know, they will take your phone. But if the $20 in here is going to be a lot less than the expense of the phone. But it's just a great way to have some cash set back for those emergency situations. Now, this is a little concealment belt. It's a little waist strap. You put it around you, it has a little pouch. Very similar in the idea of a fanny pack. In fact, it could be used for that. But this is so thin that you can just tuck it under your shirt, and nobody would know the difference. I've had this for a long time. I'm not even sure if this company's still in business, but just has a little elastic strap, and then it has these compartments. There's a main compartment here, like for important papers, for receipts. Also, this is one thing that I like to have with me, and I usually keep this in my truck, but it's an emergency phone book. And in case I lose my phone, I've got numbers written in here that are very important to me. If I do lose my phone, or my phone goes in the water and I'm out and about, a lot of times I don't remember those numbers, so that just helps. And then also, of course, these little compartments, cash, and then, you know, definitely your credit card. But this is something that, you know, you can tuck away under your shirt, and it really is hidden, and if you're being mugged or something, nobody really knows it. Or, you know, even if you're a woman and your purse is stolen. The little small belt can be tucked down into your pants, or it can just be on the outside. And once it's covered, you know, there's no way to tell that it's there. So just a great way to keep some valuables together. There are a lot of belly bands, of course, that you can use to carry for concealed carry, and things can be tucked in there as well. But this just gives you a great little flat, very easy to do option. But one way to conceal valuables that's gone on for a long time is in your shoe, your footwear. Of course, these are 511 boots. I'm getting ready to do a big review on these. But this is something that, you know, you can take cash, you can slide it down into the boot, put your shoe on, and you've got that down there ready to go. I mean, people are not necessarily going to try to remove your boots. Now, if you have really expensive Nikes and you're in some areas in some cities, that may be a problem. But, you know, just tucking it down there, it doesn't really feel any different, and the cash is down there for whatever you need. Now, this method has been used for a number of years, putting a hidden compartment in a belt. And you have a zipper inside the belt, and then you have this compartment. Here, we're just going to open it up. Got a couple of things in here. One is actually a spare key, and if I need a spare key for my house, I have it right here in my belt, or whatever I want to use. And then, of course, definitely a little bit of cash. And this thing is really long, and there's a lot that can be stored in here. And so this gives you a lot of options, especially when traveling, because people aren't necessarily, if you're being robbed, they're not going to take your belt. Or if you lose your billfold, you've got a little extra cash, and of course you have a house key. But this, to me, is just one way that it doesn't really change anything about your lifestyle. And that's what, to me, this whole thing is really about, is kind of keeping things normal and yet having some ways. Now, this is a bull leather belt from DaltechForce.com. And one of the things about this belt, not only is it a compartment belt, but this makes a great concealed carry gun belt. You can wear this, and it's good and sturdy. It's a bull leather belt, so it's really tough. Daltech Force is my recommended belt for carrying, and you really need a good belt when you're carrying a gun on your waist. They also do synthetic models as well, so check them out. Now if you have a small pouch, especially with some kind of drawstring on it, this little Olight pouch is for a flashlight, but I thought this would be a perfect example. You can hide different things in here, and of course according to the size of the pouch you can get, you know, pretty large pouches or pretty small pouches to be able to fit things. But take that cash, seal it up, and I've got these strings. Now here I've got the strings looped through my belt, and I've got these little keepers tucked under my belt. Then if I need it, all I've got to do is reach in and just pull out, and can even access it with it still on my belt. But if I need to, you know, I could definitely just unloosen my belt, pull it off. And then I've got emergency cash. And it just tucks right back in to my waist. And very comfortable. But guys, the trick I'm going to show you now is really what inspired this video. And taking these vinyl patches just like this, you know, a lot of guys are using these things, and you can remove them, you can put them on packs, on hats, on different things. One of the things about these is this Velcro on the back. And if you take and split it, just split the Velcro, you can actually tuck away cash inside here. Now, it's a lot easier putting it in. There we go. You can just slip the cash right in here, and you're good to go. And who in the world is going to pull off a patch or take your hat? Now, it's possible, but if that happens, really got bigger problems. But definitely, it gives you a way to tuck this away inside here. And then no one's the wiser. And it can go right on any kind of item, and it's one of the reasons why I have it on this pouch. If you do have a backpack or things like that, you can just tuck it away, open it up, and then again you have this little compartment, a little slit. You can do this on your own. You know, just take the slit and cut it. Just be careful not to cut the vinyl in the front. But it's not really a big deal. It's stitched around the side, or the adhesive. Well, it's stitched actually all around the edges. So this is an open area inside. And this little patch, which is from Thyram, it's a pretty evil looking patch. But it has a small little handcuff key in here, which you can put a handcuff key in any of these things as well. Not that I'm advocating you getting out of handcuffs in a law enforcement situation, but it is a good idea to keep one around. But one problem could be if you have something like this on a pack and someone just likes the patch, they can take it. I know at NRA a couple of years ago, actually I had a Suits patch on my bag and somebody took it. I would have given it to them, but anyway, that's just a good idea to have, and something that's really unique. But guys, there's so many of these patches around, and to me that's just a really cool idea. And I want to thank my buddy Chris Jensen from Century Arms. Actually is the one that told me about this in the first place, and that's where we're getting the Canic. He did this and sent it to me, but I just thought it was a great idea, and anyone can do it to a patch. Of course, if you have on a ball cap that doesn't have a patch on it, just on the inside here, you can store a little cash back if you need to. Tuck it away. Nobody knows the difference. One of the other places that women a lot of times carry cash is in their bra, but since I'm not going to demonstrate that. But guys, the biggest downside to hiding your valuables is remembering where you put them. Keep track. So guys, down in the comments below, if you have some other ideas that would fit well into an EDC scenario while you're traveling, please leave them down below. It's great to see those comments, and it gives a lot of people ideas. And I hope this helps you just to be able to put that little bit of cash back or something just in case. Be strong, be of good courage. God bless America. Long live the Republic. We're going to look at some different kitten. But guys, what I'm going to show you now, this is really what inspired the video. Let me see if I switch those in. In fact, it's a pretty large pouch for its size. Okay, for its size. Yeah, for its size, it's a large pouch, but if it was a different size, it'd be a small pouch. And for the comments who will say that people can copy your keys just from a photograph, this is an old key. This will give you your ace in a hole.